Welcome to Sports Overtime. We had a great week breaking down the biggest topics in sports on Southeast Sports Plus. Here's the best of. I have to ask all the people who do something for so long, and you were in coaching for more than 3 decades, and now you're retired. How does it feel? I know you're still fresh off of the announcement.
Yeah, it's day 3. It feels really weird getting up, not having to be somewhere. When you do something for 35 years and all of a sudden you change, it's been a little different. But at the same time, man, it's been fun with me and Christy, and we're back home with our parents in Arkansas and fixing to visit with some friends of ours.
Absolutely. When you think back at your time, especially at Auburn specifically, because obviously there was a lot of success there, what are some of those moments and some of the things that come to mind, both as an offensive coordinator and as a head coach?
Yeah, first of all, man, we love Auburn. It was an unbelievable experience for myself, for our family. Great times. Got a chance to coach Cam Newton. I mean, that was a really, really special time, a really special year too, and to win a national championship. And then I got a chance to come back, and spend 8 years as head coach, and it was a great honor to represent Auburn. And we had some really good teams, we had some really good players, and man, nothing but just great memories.
Yeah, and speaking on Cam Newton, what sticks out to you the most about his personality from when you coached him there on the Plains?
Yeah, I mean, when Cam came to Auburn, I mean, he's not the same Cam he is today. I mean, you talk about a guy that, man, he was focused. He was a great leader. He was hungry, and, he allowed me to coach him hard. And, what he did is it'll go down as one of the better seasons, if not the best seasons for a quarterback to ever play the game. And so it was just really neat for me to be a part of and watch him do his thing and elevate our team and, the players around him to have a chance to win the whole thing.
Absolutely. So much changed in coaching over your time in college football, and so much of college football has changed as well. Give me some of the things that are good and some of the things that you might want to see change a little bit in college football now. I know it could be a broad topic, but maybe the 4 or 5 biggest things that you have seen since when you started in college football to where it is now.
Well, of course, the NIL, it's almost like a new profession in a way, as far as recruiting and retaining players. I mean, so something has to be done to at least get some guardrails on that. When you're dealing with the players and you're on the field in the meetings, it feels the same way. I mean, it's just probably more of a challenge each year. You have a new team. Most of these programs are going to have half the team going to be new. So, that's the biggest challenge, I think, for coaches this day and time. But, when you're on the field, I mean, it's still the exact same thing. You still get the same feeling and everything that goes with that.
Coach, when you spent your time on the Plains, what were some of your fondest memories of your time there?
Golly, there was a lot. I mean, obviously the Iron Bowls, that's really what sticks out. I mean, the 2010 Iron Bowl is probably my all-time favorite. I mean, that was just something real special to be a part of. We were down so big and came back and able to win that game, and the pressure was unbelievable, and it allowed us to go win a national championship. And, the kick six, I mean, that's hard to top that. To be a part of something like that was just, I feel very blessed. And, 17, 19, I mean, those are the things that really stand out as far as games go.
Yeah, so going off of the kick six, I mean, I have to ask, what was going through your head as Chris Davis started to run that back?
Yeah, before that, we had the 2-minute drive, and Nick hit Sammy Coates with, 30, 40 seconds left. And, I was really, to be honest with you, thinking overtime, and I felt like we had the momentum. I mean, we were handed off and getting 5 and 6. They were a little bit tired. Our crowd was going bananas. So I was really kind of focusing on, hey, what are we going to call in overtime and all that. Then when they got the ball past midfield, they put the 1 second back on, and they had the backup kicker. So it was a little bit different feel, and we called timeout and decided to put Chris Davis back, underneath the goalpost. And when he caught it, I just, when he got near me, of course, I'm looking, is he close to being out of bounds? He gets by me, and then, of course, I look for flags, and wow, we just beat him like that. It was a really wild experience.
John, I want to focus on you here just for a second. Since you were formerly an official, was there a specific stadium, city that was one of your favorites to travel to?
No, I get that question a lot. To tell you the truth, I've been visiting I've been visiting the schools since I've been in this position. Usually half the schools in April, March or April with spring practice, and the other half of the schools during August camps. I try to get to every school every calendar year. And I find myself when I'm on campuses, and typically the stadiums are empty. Maybe the practice or scrimmage I'm there to see is in the stadium, or maybe it's not. But the stadiums have a more impressive effect on me in this role when I show up and I actually have time to look at them than when I actually showed up on game days. Game days we were whisked into a tunnel underneath the stands, let's say 2 hours before game time. We had a lot of meetings that we had to go to that were inside the stadium, not out on the field. And then we showed up the field, did a coin toss, and we went and did a game. And your performance is just like many things in life. Your performance is so predicated on focus. And I talk about focus quite a bit with our officials, and I define focus as lack of distraction.
Yeah.
Right? Cold is lack of heat. and focus is lack of distraction, right? And so sitting in and just looking around the stadiums and the stands and all the tailgating that's going on inside, that can only be distraction for what we're trying to do on Saturday. So, I'm deflecting your question, obviously. They're all impressive. And even, you might say, well, hey, John, how about just the chaos, the noise level that are created in the stadiums? There's not one stadium in the SEC that has a monopoly on that. There are quite a number of them that can bring the environment as well. And again, that in and of itself is a distraction. I will tell you this. I did allow myself to take it in during the media break between the third and fourth quarters for at least a couple of reasons. Number one, it's later in the game and I'm trying to replenish attention span. And one of the ways to replenish attention span is to get off whatever you are focusing on. Even if it's 2.5 minutes, it's 2.5 minutes of replenishing attention span. But the second is, a lot of our stadiums have traditions of things they do each and every time during that media timeout. I love the cowbell sketch from Saturday Night Live whenever I was in Starkville, Mississippi. They added it towards the end when I was in the field, but singing Tom Petty in Gainesville. Dixieland Delight between the third and fourth quarter in Tuscaloosa. I allowed myself that, and I did look forward to those moments.
18 SEC games. We're 9 games in so far, 9 games left. This job for Coach Byington, what do you make of what he's been able to do with this team, now considering the fact that there's another set of adversity with the weather? I just learned from Patrick that he's been living in his office, I think, since for the last week or so. Can you explain just Coach being able to kind of push all the right buttons, so to speak, here with this team?
Well, first off, I'm not going to feel sorry for the coach, because you guys know that every coach is looking for a reason to sleep in the office. None of those guys actually like to go home. They live their jobs. That's what I've always known about coaches. They live their jobs. I'm not going to say Mark Byington likes to sleep in the hallway, but that guy likes to coach basketball. That's pretty clear. I don't think that's the worst thing that's ever happened to him. Look, we do. I mean, it's all over the Southeast. We have a tragedy. Right now we had hundreds of thousands of people without power. We still have people without power here. It's still cold here, and so we're still battling. So you were asking about the job he's done, or where this team is headed? I'm sorry.
Just the job he's done overall, and considering all of the adversity he has to go through.
Well, I mean, look, you've got a team that I think only carried over 3 players from last year. And that was by choice. Okay. He knew he had a good team last year. He went to the tournament last year, but that's not the goal. The goal is to go as far as possible. And so he wanted the same style of team, but a bigger team, one that could play better defense, it could rebound better. And so, you've seen that. And like I've said, they have faced some adversity, and I think that they would tell you that adversity is making them stronger. I think it's good to take some lumps along the way. Shea Ralph said it last week after they got drilled by the Gamecocks, that will make them better. And I think, this team coming back and winning 3 in a row, I don't care who it is in the SEC. That's terrific. So, I think as long as they keep kind of chugging along the way they're chugging along, they're 6-3. If they went 6-3 again in the back half and went 12-6, I think you'd have to be pretty darn happy with that.
Yeah.
I think if you get, if you're anything over 10 wins in this league, you got to be pretty happy with where you are. And, can you get Duke Miles healthy for the postseason? I think that, because, trying to replace 17 points a game is a lot of points to come up with.
Yeah.
And, every game or so, every other game, some guy's going to pop for you, but maybe not for 17, maybe for like 8 or 10. And so, they need to get that young man back on the court because he alleviates some of the pressure on Tanner and Nickel to really fill it up. I mean, you kind of know what McLaughlin and Washington are going to do for you, and once in a while, one of those guys emerges with like a 15-point night. But, they are what they are. They're 10-10 type of guys.
Yeah.
And so, he's done a good job. His team is who it is. We've seen that. Nothing is going to sway them off of that. And if they get pushed a little bit, they'll respond. And so, I think he has to like where they are. Is it good enough in March? That's why we play.
Stay with us here on Sports Overtime. And remember, you can watch our show, Southeast Sports Plus, from 2 to 4 o'clock on the free WKRG Plus app. You can find us on your Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV device. What does this stage of the season look like? As a coach that's been all the way to the national championship, you've been to the furthest heights. What does this part of the year look like for you guys as you get your guys revved up and then playing their best golf when it's necessary at the end of the year?
It's just a progress. It's a progression, right? We're just trying to keep trending up, trying to get better. We're trying to make sure that every player has their blueprint, have their plan, just keep chipping away at it. But a lot of it's just getting outside, especially for some of our young men or freshmen that live up in northern climates, and getting outside to be able to compete and work on their golf swing a little bit and just play and have some fun too, and be together too. That connectivity on this team is phenomenal, and that's something that's very, very important to me when it comes to culture.
Coach, do you have an input on which tournaments that your guys play in? And if so, what goes into deciding where to play these tournaments?
We do as a coaching staff. I'm lucky I got two of the best assistant coaches in the country that help me. And we just try to find the best golf courses that we can, the best competition. Listen, there's so many great coaches and so many great programs and players throughout this country. And we're just blessed to have the opportunity to play one of the best schedules in the country and go out and compete. And we're trying to put our players in a position to improve and compete against the best amateurs in the world and hopefully be professional golfers. And that's that's their aspiration, their ambition, and we want to give them the opportunity to do that.
Of course, Jackson Quaven will steal a lot of the headlines after the year he had last season. Let's talk big picture, first of all, with him, with his game. What do you see? What have you seen from the time you recruited him to where he is now and going to that next level, going into his junior season after such a phenomenal year last year, the SEC Player of the Year?
Well, he's an elite competitor. He's one of the most competitive people I've ever coached. If he has a downfall, he probably has a hard time turning it off. But listen, he takes care of his body. He's with our physical therapist, who's our strength coach. He's taking care of himself. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's got a great plan. His teacher out in San Jose has been with him since he was a little kid. Fred Garcia has done a wonderful job with him. Josh Gregory's done a wonderful job with his short game and trying to improve his technical aspects of his game. And I mean, the guy he's a workhorse. He deserves everything that comes his way because of his work ethic and his elite mindset.
Coach, I follow golf pretty closely, but for some of the people that don't really follow it as closely, they know the Ryder Cup, they may know the President's Cup, but how important actually is it for one of your guys to be a member of the Walker Cup?
It's listen, anytime you have an opportunity to represent your country and the United States of America and put that flag on your chest and your golf bag, I mean, what a true honor and what a true privilege it is to do that. And, he went out there and I think he made a stake that he is the best amateur in the world. He kind of led the Walker Cup team. I think he's 3-1 in matches, dominated the singles. And once again, he is an elite competitor, and he has an elite mind. And I've been coaching 25 years, and I'd say he's the best putter I've ever coached.
Some basketball now. This is an Arkansas team that comes into this week's game against Mississippi State. I feel like they are a team, in my opinion, that if there's one team that feels to me, correct me if I'm wrong, feels to me that you know kind of who they are, it's this Arkansas team. I feel like everybody else has some questions, Florida included, but I feel like Arkansas kind of knows who they are. What say you going into this matchup with the Bulldogs?
Yeah, they certainly know what works for them, right, guys? Mm-hmm. And that is offense. Their offense is so good. And when it's clicking, it's really hard to beat this Arkansas team, right? Defensively, they have some questions. That's where they've struggled. But what's been hiding their defensive issues is because their offense has been so good. What we saw against this in this Kentucky game, right, is Kentucky took advantage of some of the weaknesses, right? And they turned around, they said, okay, Arkansas does really well in transition. That's one of their things that's their bread and butter this year, is that they like to get out in transition, make it a track meet, make it a fast-paced game, and score a lot of fast break points, right? Well, Kentucky said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to slow the game down. We're going to control the tempo from the jump, and we're going to make you uncomfortable early on, similar to what Georgia did in that game there. So Arkansas, while yes, they have an identity, they do. Mm-hmm. If you know that identity, you have ways to beat them. So it makes me a little nervous, Gerhard, because going forward, I want to see this Arkansas team get uncomfortable. I do. I like when they get uncomfortable because it's almost like they have to figure it out, right? Yeah. Against Oklahoma, they did that, right? What did Oklahoma do? They took away one of their strengths offensively. It wasn't fast break points, but it was shooting from the three, right? Arkansas is one of the better teams in the country and in the SEC at shooting the three. Oklahoma said, nah, we're not going to let you shoot the three. Well, they were able to overcome that on the road and still take down Oklahoma. I get it's an Oklahoma team that's struggling, but Kentucky did a similar thing. They said, okay, we're going to take away your strength in transition, but we're also going to take away your strength at shooting threes. Mm-hmm. Arkansas last week, guys, 5-31 from beyond the arc.
Wow, I just kept chucking.
Yeah, they weren't hitting anything. And this is where Coach Cal gets frustrated, right? This is where Coach Cal goes in the press conference.
Bag of tricks.
The bag of tricks. You have a bag of tricks. Why are you shooting the three, man? Well, because I'm really good at shooting three. No, you're really good at driving inside and getting a bucket to go as well. Sometimes a two, just as good as a three. If you get more twos, I like it much more than going 0 for 4 from the three. So again, I got a little passionate there, but I feel where he's coming from. They have talent on this team. They just got to remember that.
Stay with us here on Sports Overtime. And remember, you can watch our show, Southeast Sports Plus, from 2 to 4 o'clock on the free WKRG Plus app. You can find us on your Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV device. I had to do a little fit change here to represent
What are we doing? Get a load of this guy.
Listen. Unapologetically, we on Friday of the day before big game or the big game itself, when the Cubs play and when the Patriots play, I have to have the gear on. So yes, it is that. I know it's not the normal attire.
But explain to them what happens if they lose.
Okay, so.
It's not out of the realm of possibility because, I think the Seahawks are going to win this weekend.
I like to think positively, but you know what? You got a shot at it, and the Seahawks are favored. But I will say this. So a tradition started. I'm a Patriots fan. We won 3 in a row. That was the height of it. We won 3 out of 4. Didn't go to 1 year. And I thought we couldn't lose. 2007 came, we lost. And the hoodie was never seen again. 2011, we lost again. It was never seen again. So what I ended up doing, I had a new tradition after we won in 16. I said, hey, every time we go on a playoff run, there's a new playoff shirt. If we win, it stays. If we lose, it's gone.
So that's not what you wore for the wild card a few years ago against the Bills.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
It's not, and I haven't had to wear a t-shirt for the last 4 years. We haven't been in the playoffs. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sports Overtime tonight. Remember, you can watch our show, Southeast Sports Plus, Monday to Friday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on the free WKRG Plus app. You can find us on your Apple TV, Roku, or Fire TV device. Good night.